Welcome back, guys, to the fourth video in this series. This is Emrich Tech Solutions Code. Now, in the last video we looked at the flex direction property that helps us to change the orientation of our items, of our flex items, to either vertical or horizontal. Okay, so as you can guess, this is actually vertical, so that means my flex direction is on flex direction column. So let me return it back to row. Okay, so we can see how our flex item would be normally. So I'm gonna comment out the flex direction. So what we have just here is our display of flex on the flex container, and you know what that would show? It just gives us our item aligned or stacked side by side horizontally. Okay, guys, as a reminder, without the flex display of flex, our items behave normal, which is block. All the items stack up on themselves as block. So invariably you can just see that by setting my flex direction to colon also gives me this kind of result, which is the default, without applying even flex at all. Do you get now? Okay, guys, so let me put back my display of flex and see what we have. Now with this, we have what we call the next property we are going to apply. Now we have applied just two properties so far: flex direction. I'm going to be commenting them out so you see all I've been applying one after the other. So the next one I want to apply is called FlexWrap. So from the word FlexWrap can take in like three properties or three options of values: no wrap, which is the default, wrap, and wrap reverse. Okay, so by default is no wrap. Let me put it apply no wrap, but let me pretend that I'm even not applying anything called flex wrap, and let's see what happens by default when our window, our browser gets reduced. Maybe gets reduced. Yeah, so you can see that the items are hiding now because there is no more space. But if my item gets larger, no problem, I have space. But if it gets lower, then this page or the items would start, the items would start having this overflow. Okay, this overflow. So you can see 7, 8, 9, or 8 and 9 out of the container itself. So because there is no space, so by default it's no wrap. Okay, so what that means is if I turn on no wrap, we're not going to see any change here because it's just the default behavior. Okay, but if I set it and change the option to wrap, so that means when there are no space anymore for this item to occupy the page, maybe on a small screen or something, you can use this flex wrap to make the browser, other items that can't fit in the line should move to the next line. So let me reduce this window size, and guys, can you see that this time around now there is no overflow because the browser has been able to calculate and see that the items cannot fit in the page, hence it's going to come to a new line. Okay, as it is now, I keep refreshing. This is the behavior of the flex wrap. So if I change it to no wrap, guys, I just want you to spot the difference to see what's happening here. See what the property of flex wrap or wrap gives us. It takes any excess to a new line. But if I refresh now that I've set it to now that I've set it to no wrap, guys, and I refresh my page, see what happens. You see that none of these items comes to a new line, and at the same time I'm having what we call overflow. That's why I'm now having this scroll bar or at the horizontal end that I have to scroll to see the remaining ones. And not just that, they are even overflowing out of the container, which is not what we want. So FlexWrap is actually handy in this case, where by wrapping the items, I expect the browser to help me push up any excess item to a new line, and that helps my design look more, clean and good. So let me refresh and see what wrap is going to do. Okay, now guys, this is the FlexWrap. Now the third value for FlexWrap is the wrap reverse. Just like we have the row reverse, column reverse. Okay, so the wrap reverse, I guess you know what it's going to do. It's going to reverse this. It's going to wrap actually, but it's going to make this second line above the first line. So instead of wrapping to the second line, it's going to wrap to the previous line up to the first line. So let's see how that operates. So I'm going to put what? Wrap reverse. So guys, voila, let's see what happens. So I'm going to be having 6, 7, 8, 9 above. 6, 7, 8, 9 above. So instead of wrapping below, it's going to wrap above. So it's wrap reverse. Do you get now? So that's just it. So similarly, guys, I can also simulate when we have our container or our flex items vertically. So that means I will have to turn on this my flex direction and make it column. Let's see how wrap can help us. Okay, let me start with wrap before we do the reverse so we don't get confused. Now I'm simulating column. Now initially we have the row, which we've seen. So let's see how wrap works with column. So let's assume that our items have been changed to a vertical orientation like this, guys. Do you understand? So with this now, but with this case, that means I will have to do something, guys. I will have to give it a height so that we have excess. I have to simulate that. Don't forget, I have to reduce my screen so that we have excess that we wrap to the next line. Now in this case, now we still have space, and this is the container here, so it's more or less like there's nothing to wrap. Okay, so let's make the container give the height, or give it a height of 400 pixel, and let's see what happens here. So let me even maximize the screen. There is no problems here because I'm working horizontal now. So I'm going to refresh. Guys, can you see it now? So this box, the container, is now 400 pixels tall. So there is no space for the other items 7, 8, 9 to fit in. So what wrap we do is to take the SS and take it to the next column beside it. So let's assume I'm turning on this flex wrap, or I make it no wrap. Let's see what happens despite the fact we're having a smaller height and it won't be able to fit in all these items. Let's see what happens. Guys, can you see that this is overflowing? This is where my container ends. Can you see it now? Can you see the overflow from here to this place? So that's not good enough. So but with the help of FlexWrap, which takes any excess to another line or to a new column, let's see what this helps us to do. Guys, can you see it? So I'm sorry this is getting long, but I just need to explain this concept, using row and column. So one more here and we end this video is to simulate the wrap reverse. Okay, so with the wrap reverse, guys, can you tell me what will happen here now? Okay, reverse, this is wrapping to this line now, or to the next column. That means wrap reverse should bring this guy to the right, to the left hand side. Am I right? Okay guys, can you see it now? So this is just the opposite. Instead of wrapping to the right hand side, it's going to reverse it to the left hand side. So this is wrap reverse. And don't forget, we've also simulated earlier column reverse. And you know what column reverse will do? Guys, before I refresh, what do you think will happen before I refresh the page? The reverse, column reverse, is I'm going to be having 6 starting up here instead of 1. And here I'm going to be having 9 starting instead of 7. Guys, can you see it now? So 6 starting instead of 1 and 9 starting instead of 7. But not just that alone, it's going to also start at the extreme, the second end of the parent container instead of starting from the origin. Okay, so guys, I'm going to end it here. I hope you do understand these FlexWrap, no wrap, wrap, and wrap reverse. And when we look at our flex direction, we can have row reverse, column, and column reverse. So just practice, and practice makes perfect. You're going to understand it. So we are heading somewhere. When we are done with all these properties, we're going to see the good use case of flex. Okay, and we're going to appreciate it more. Okay, thanks for your time and your patience. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, subscribe this channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.